Darwin, on your board here, you have down here cover crop tests. Can you talk a little bit about how cover crops has worked for you and how you see the future of soil health?
Cover crops are an exciting new venture in agriculture. Cover crops hold so much promise. They still serve on the NACD, National Association of Conservation Districts. I and a gentleman over here in Jackson County promote. We have about 4,000 acres locally that are grown here by producers just in 2 counties. Cover crops provide excellent soil health. There's so many advantages to it to keep that soil healthy and keep that ground green all seasons of the year when possible. Yes, we have winter here, but I just ordered my material seed this week. I typically plant about 50 pounds of aerial apply over both my corn and soybean acres. And the combination I use and works reasonably well is 47 pounds of cereal rye, a pound of tillage radishes, a pound of turnips, and a pound of rapeseed. And we apply that, as I say, by airplane. The photo down here shows Steve Honset, the local gentleman that does a lot of aerial crop dusting, but he's also made a modification. Now we can fly crop or cover crop seed on, and we do that. Well, we'll be doing that in about 30 days, which would be near the end of August. The measuring element is when the soybean plant obtains its first yellow leaves on the bottom as it's maturing. If you apply before that, too much foliage, too much shading, too much covering. And if you wait longer, you got too many leaves dropping, the seed doesn't make contact with the ground. But we find by growing cover crops so many things. We find the soil becomes much less compacted. The infiltration of water is so much greater. Here you can see some of the problems when we have flooding. And this year, 2018, we've had this happen on my farm down in the lower area where it's looked like that 4 different times since spring snowmelt. We all agree, I think, the experts and so on, our rain events are becoming much greater in volume all over the country. And how do we contend with that? And that's, I guess, a major factor with growing cover crops, because you prevent erosion, or certainly reduce it. Buffers are a wonderful thing. I commend Governor Dayton for mandating it, and our legislators. But they're not the whole answer. You need more than just a buffer around a stream. And so cover crops hold down the weed pressure too. If you look at my field here to my left, that field has had no chemical put on it. The reason being the cover crops suppress the weed pressure, and I don't have to even till it. I can do strip tillage, plant my crop, and guess what? I have little to no weed pressure. The other thing, the microorganisms, soil biology, we're learning, all scientists are learning how valuable, how necessary those are to feed the nutrients to our plants, our cornstalk, our soybean. And this is where the cover crop keeps them growing. We're finding that deep tillage, we thought 10 years ago, I went from moldboard plowing to V-ripping to I tried some no-till. It doesn't work in this region. Our ground is too heavy. It doesn't warm up. So strip till, along with cover crops, has kind of become the answer for me. But it's the one thing I guess I'll stress. It's not a one program that fits all. And I guess I'd forewarn anybody, it's going to take 3 years minimum when you start into cover crops to kind of find how they work best for you. When to plant them, how to maintain them. A lot of studies are going on, a lot of states are doing it now. There's programs out there through NRCS, FSA, so on, that subsidize a producer, a landowner, in using them. Where it is very beneficial and very cost effective is if you're still in cattle production, livestock. If you can plant your cereal rye in the fall, have it come back in the spring, get a nice growth, you'll get a 6, 8, 10-inch growth. Forage that to the cattle, let them open graze it, plant your soybean crop right into that. Do your burn down after the beans have been planted. It's very profitable because the cattle will do well on it, get free feed. So cover crops for me will be something I'll always maintain and always do. We just keep finding out more and more advantages to planting them.